welcome once again in this session of operations management. So we have seen in our session that what is operations management, what are the differences between a manufacturing company and a service industry, and what are the characteristics of a manufacturing industry and a service industry. So let us now continue further. So that is why we say that the inputs could be human resources, technologies, materials, and when we do the transformation process, our outputs are either products or services. And then in between we take a feedback, we take the performance information, and based on that we take corrective actions on our processes. So ultimately the idea is that we have to add value to our processes. So how we can add the values? So for example, the values can be added by proper processes, by ensuring quality in our systems. So here you are seeing in this slide a lot of ecosystem also. The inputs, as we have discussed earlier, but the inputs also has to take into consideration the environment. The environment is the legal environment of that region, of that country, of that state. You also have to consider the environment, the competitive environment. Who are the competitors? What kind of customers are there? What is the demographic environment over there? So you can say political environment, ecological environment, technological environment, economic environment, legal environment, etc. So that also has to be taken into consideration. Okay, so there are three levels of decisions: strategic decisions, operating decisions, and control decisions in production and operations management. Let us talk further about strategic decisions. What are strategic decisions? Strategic decisions are those decisions that set the direction for the entire company. So they are broad in scope and long-term in nature. So strategic decisions means long-term decisions. Where do you see your organizations 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, and maybe even 50 years from now? So based on the strategic decisions, you take a decision: what product I have to manufacture, what kind of facility I have to build, what kind of location I need to select, what kind of processes I need to have, what kind of quality I should go for. So once you have taken a wrong strategic decision, in the future if you apply all the best management techniques, it will not work because your initial decision was wrong. So that is strategic decision. Second level of decision which you take in operations management is tactical decisions. So tactical decisions are medium term to short term, you can say. They are specific in nature, and based on the strategic decision you take tactical decisions. For example, you have taken a decision to manufacture, let's say to manufacture shoes. Now tactical decisions are what kind of shoes, what kind of quality you need to have. Should you go for children's shoes only, or should you go for ladies footwear, gents footwear, sport shoes, or formal shoes? For example, companies like Adidas, Nike, they are broadly into sports kind of footwear. So that was strategic decision as well as tactical decisions are now in that variety, what kind of sports shoes they should manufacture. Running shoes, walking shoes, various kinds of shoes, various kinds of price ranges, so that it suits the pocket of various customers. So those becomes tactical decisions now. Okay, so strategic decisions, as we have seen, once again you will see further details in this slide. You will see facility layout, allocation of resources, etc. are strategic decisions. Similarly, operating decisions or tactical decisions are production planning systems, independent demand inventory systems, resource requirements planning systems, shop floor planning and control, materials management. So these are day-to-day operations decisions. So you will be studying all of these in different chapters thereon. Then there are control decisions. What kind of productivity I should have? In fact, the endeavor of every organization is to increase the productivity. Production, planning, control, maintenance management, reliability management, etc. comes under control decisions. So, construction of building, acquisition of land, procuring and installing machinery, purchasing and storing raw materials, converting them into saleable products are all parts of operations management. So by now you have understood, the gist of operations management, so how important it is and how interesting this domain is. Now, some of the students generally ask, what is the difference between production management and operations management? Are these the same? Well, there is not much difference between the two. In fact, this subject of operations management was earlier known as production management. So basically, production management was used for manufacturing industries. But now, since service sector is huge, so therefore it also has got its own operations. For example, as I have given you examples of an educational institution, a hospital, a restaurant, a hotel, an airlines industry, railways, although they are not manufacturing anything, but there are a lot of operations involved, a lot of processes involved till the time they deliver their final services. So therefore, earlier when the main focus of the businesses was on manufacturing, that time this subject used to be known as production management. But now there are a lot of service industries also, so therefore we call it production and operations management, or we can simply call it operations management. So we can say that production management is a subset of operations management. So production management involves the planning, organizing, directing and controlling of the production process. So basically production management is mainly used for the factory system of production. But otherwise we can use the word operations management also for the manufacturing industries. So as you can see in this slide also further, that how we can achieve competitive advantage in a manufacturing kind of a setup. For example, the first point we are saying is shorter new product lead time. So if you are producing new products in a shorter time, so you will get a competitive advantage. For example, companies like Apple, they are coming out with new products, new features in a very short period of time. Company like Samsung, that is why people want to buy a new phone, a new features phone. So that is also a competitive advantage in a manufacturing organization. More inventory turns, the more number of times you are turning your inventory, the more efficient you are. Shorter manufacturing lead time. So when you get an order, the time you get an order and the time when you complete this order, you complete your manufacturing and you deliver this product in the market is called lead time, manufacturing lead time. So there lies the capability and the efficiency of a manufacturing plant. Higher quality. If you are able to give good quality to the customers, so that will be your winning point. And customization. How you are able to customize. For example, Dell company, which makes laptops, computers, systems, they used to customize according to the customer requirements. And of course, keep the prices in check. So ultimately that is the aim of production and operations management, to maintain good quality, to produce the product in less time while not compromising with the quality, keeping the costs in check. So that is operations management. Today successful organizations, if you see in automobiles, Hyundai, you have Maruti, you have Hondas. In mobile phones, you have Samsung, you have Apple, which is an international brand. So they try to keep the cost in control relative to the quality which they are offering to you. And they are coming out with new products in the market. And they are ensuring that less complaints of the people are there in the market. So therefore, they are able to give you the guarantee and warranty on their products also. Because they are sure that in the next 1 or 2 years or 3 years, the product will not have any problem. And in case there is a problem, we will set it right free of cost. So that speaks that how efficient your operations and production systems are. So therefore, we can say that production management is used in manufacturing organization and operations management is a wider term. So wherein operations management produce both tangible as well as intangible products. So therefore, we can say that production is a subset of operations management. So as I said earlier that production management came first, and then now we are calling this subject as operations management. So once again, to summarize this particular operations management, we can say that it is defined as operations management may be defined as the design, operation and improvement of the production system that creates the firm's primary products or services. Okay, so now we will talk about the major historical developments in operations management, how we have come towards this operations management. So initially, I will show you a slide wherein you can see that how all these things have evolved over a period of time. There was an industrial revolution in late 1700s. Then there was a era of scientific management. Then there was era of human relations movement. Then there was an era of management science movement. Then computer age came in 1970s. Just-in-time systems, we call them JIT systems, came in 1980s decade. Then total quality management, TQM, you will be studying all of this just-in-time system, total quality managements also came in 80s and 90s, then re-engineering, then flexibility, then time-bound competition. So all these things, supply chain management, global competition, environmental issues and electronic commerce. So let us see one by one, how these eras have evolved. So for example, industrial revolution came in late 1700s. So it replaced traditional craft methods and it substituted machine power for labor. Major contribution for this industrial revolution, as we have studied in history also, was James Watt in 1764. He invented the steam engine. Adam Smith in 1776 came out with the theory of division of labor. That means that one person cannot do all the work. So every person has got a specialization. So somebody is a master of lathe machine, so he will be running the lathe machine. Somebody is a master of woodcraft, so he will be doing the woodcraft. So there is a division of labor. L. Whitney in 1790 came out with the theory of interchangeable parts. So that, in a particular machine, today if you buy a car, earlier there was a very big toolkit given to you when you purchased a car. Today the toolkit is very small. There is one spanner, one or two other keys. So therefore you can open your bolts of your tire also, you can open any other thing also, major things which is required from a consumer. So instead of giving him so many keys, so they are trying to put a few bolts of the same size. That is called interchangeable parts. Instead of using so many parts, it makes the manufacturing very complicated and complex. Then we came to scientific management era in early 1900s. So what it said, it separated planning from doing. It said that the management job was to discover workers' physical limits through measurement, analysis and observation. So the major contributors to this scientific management were Frederick Taylor, who came out with stopwatch time studies. Then there was Henry Ford, who came out with the concept of moving assembly lines. So these people did a lot of studies that how to increase the productivity of human beings, how they are able to work, say, in a manufacturing plant. They should be able to use both their limbs, both their hands, use of all the fingers. I would like to give you an interesting example. When you drive a car, please observe that you are observing both your hands, both your feet. You are using both your hands for steering on the steering wheel. One leg you are using for accelerator. The left feet you use for the clutch as well as for the brakes, or vice versa, or right leg you use for the accelerator or for the brake, depending on the driver. And so you make use of all your fingers when you are opening the headlights, when you are opening the wipers, everything. And then your eyes are also used. Then there is a rear mirror wherein you can see which are the vehicles coming from the back side. Then there are side mirrors. So you are making use of all your body parts in driving a vehicle. So that is the concept which Frederick Taylor had given, that how you can use all your body parts, especially your fingers, your eyes, to do a particular work. So all these are now applied in operations management. Then came the era from 1930s to 1960s. There was an era of human relations movement. So this era said that there was a recognition that factors other than money contribute to worker productivity. So this theory came out. Earlier we used to think that you give more money to the worker, you increase the worker's wages, give more incentives, you can increase the production, you can get more work, better quality. But not necessarily. Workers or the human resources need more than money. So there was a study, a famous study, which you have studied in HR also, which is called Hawthorne effect. So in Hawthorne effect, a lot of experiments were done, and they said environmental factors also have an effect, light, heat, on productivity of the workers. Then there is something called camaraderie between the workers. So it was seen that if workers are like-minded, if they have got informal groups also, so that was also recognized in the organization. If there are informal groups and one worker is more comfortable with the other worker, so they will give more productivity. So those kind of things were found to be incentivizing the workers. Then there were concepts like job enlargement and job enrichment. Job enlargement, if you enlarge the scope of work for a worker, he or she will feel more motivated. Or if you enrich the job, if you give him more responsibilities, better dignity in the job, the worker will feel more elated. So those were the things that contributed to the productivity of the business industry. So these are also part of our operations management, which we have to study. Then came an era in 1900s, mid 1900s, management science era. So here there were concepts called inventory modeling, linear programming, project management, forecasting of sales, demand forecasting, statistical sampling, quality control techniques, which play a very important role even today in our operations management, which we all have to study. And then post 1970s, in some countries it was post 1980s in some countries, but it came in advanced countries in post 1970s era. There was a computer age, and today also each and every work is done through computers. So in operations management, computerized systems are there. Computerized material requirement planning is there. MRP systems, softwares are there. Through softwares now machines are being run. There are automated plants. So automation is basically through computerized systems only. There are robotic systems, so it is also an application of computer age itself. Now, post 1980s, there has been a lot of influence of Japanese manufacturing systems or Japanese operations management concept. Japanese have given a concept of JIT system, just-in-time systems. So what does it say? It says that you need not have very huge inventories in your system. So whenever you require that those inventories, they should be available. Just like if suppose you are running a milk industry, companies like Amul or Mother Dairy, do they have to have the inventories of milk? No, they have to have fresh milk, or for that matter any food industry have to procure fresh material in order to produce daily. So Japanese said that if food industry can have fresh things every day, why can't an automobile industry or an electronic industry procure the products on day-to-day basis or as and when required? So there came out this system of just-in-time systems. So they said that why to waste money in huge inventories in stock, huge stocks, a lot of money is involved, and then after some time those stocks get obsolete, and sometimes they expire. Some of the products also have an expiry date also, or even if it is a metal product, it may get rusted, some products may have some fungus on it. So why to tie up your capital in these? So just-in-time systems concepts are there. Today modern industries are running on this concept. So they have got supply chain management system, which we call it SCM. So they have got huge coordination with their suppliers, so that the suppliers are in the knowledge that when this material is required. So just-in-time doesn't mean that at the same time when my material is going in the machine. Just-in-time means 1 or 2 days before my production schedule, the material will arrive, but there is no need for huge warehouses to store the material. So that is the concept of just-in-time system. Then Japanese have also given the concept of total quality management, TQM. Earlier quality was a one department at the end. You manufacture all the products, and in the last the quality inspector will check your materials and he will say this is okay, this is not okay. So this theory says that why in the first place you have made a defective product. So it says quality is not the responsibility of the quality department in the last. So quality is the responsibility of every person in the system. So it is the responsibility, for example, it's the responsibility of the purchase department also. Sometimes it happens that you have purchased a defective material. The raw material was defective, and then you started making that product. For example, in your homes, you buy a stale flour and you start making your chapatis out of it. So chapatis will not be good. So in the very first place, you should not have bought that product. So it is the responsibility of everybody to maintain the quality. Then business process re-engineering, BPR, that means you totally change the way you are running your business. So we will be studying more about it, business process re-engineering. Then in 1990s, there have been developments like flexible manufacturing systems. That means the system should be able to adapt to changing customer demand. Our facilities should be such that we are able to make a new product. So time-based competition, supply chain management. So all these are concepts which have evolved over a period of time. So we have to see global competition is also now coming up in a big way. So we have to match the international quality. Now, as I talked earlier about it, environmental issues is also a great concern to the whole world. Today there are conferences being held. There are conferences like G20, there are environmental conferences where they are saying reduce the waste or reuse, try to reuse the waste or try to recycle your wastes, and so that after using it, whatever you are emanating in the environment, it doesn't cause much destruction to the air which we are breathing. It doesn't create destruction to the water which we are using, to the ground water, etc. So, and therefore there are requirements that whatever remnants you are producing in the environment should be properly treated. So you have to install equipments to treat that. So it is also very much part of your operations management systems now. And there are points which organizations get, that how friendly they are to the environment. And of course, today we can't think of a world, which is not untouched by electronic commerce or e-commerce. Today we are buying a lot of materials through e-commerce companies, be it Amazon, be it Flipkarts, and be it big baskets, milk baskets, and so on. So electronic commerce, so operations management has its challenges. So you can very well imagine how operations management play an important role in e-commerce companies. So therefore, I hope you have got a very broad idea of this subject, operations management, and it will create a lot of inquisitiveness and curiosity to go deeper into the various topics which we have talked about today. And so we will be waiting for the next series of chapters in operations management. So thank you very much.